Hi guys, welcome back to Learning English and Literature. In this video, I will guide you on how to attempt the synonyms part of the comprehension questions in WAEC English Language Paper 1. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and let's reach a wider audience. Yes, the synonyms part of the comprehension questions is usually the last. Here are the questions. First, they'll give you a passage to read. And what they're asking you to do here is to replace these words with other words, but retain the meaning as used in the passage. It simply means that whatever you're going to replace these words with must match with the meaning of the word as used in the passage. Okay, let me give you the two rules here. One, when replacing a word, if the word is in the past tense, make sure your answer or your replacement is also in the past tense. For example, this is scanned. If you give your answer in the present tense, you will lose that mark. Whatever word you're going to use to replace this word here, scanned, must be in the same tense. So if you're going to say, no, to scan now means to look very carefully or to examine, your answer must be in the past, like he looked very carefully or looked. Okay, if you give them any response in the present tense, you will lose that mark. So if the word is in the past tense, make sure your answer also is in the past tense. The second rule, you do not need to use a word to replace another word. You can use a phrase, okay? So that makes it more flexible. So make sure the phrase matches with the meaning of the word used in the passage. So let's begin. The first thing you do is to read the passage first carefully. Remember, you have 15 minutes to read the passage very carefully. Then when you get to the word, make sure, even if you know the meaning of the word, do not rush to just replace the meaning of the word with something you think you know. Make sure you read the passage very carefully and get the meaning, okay? Then you look for another word that has the same meaning of this same word as used in the passage and replace it. Remember what I said, if the word is in the past tense, make sure your answer is also in the past tense, okay? If you do not, you will lose that one precious mark. So let's go. The first one, intractable. The meaning of the word intractable simply means impossible to control. Now let's go back to the passage and see if the meaning of the word matches with the meaning of the passage. The majority of this lot were those with seemingly intractable mental health conditions. Yes, uncontrollable conditions matches this. Okay, if you read the passage, you will understand they are talking about mentally deranged people. So uncontrollable here is perfect. Supplication simply means prayer, a kind of worship. So let's go back to the passage now and see how the word was used. On this particular Wednesday, noisy supplications to the Most High. Good. Prayers. Now, remember this word here is in the plural. So, if you're writing your answer and you say prayer, you will lose that mark. Your answer must also be in the plural form. So, the correct answer here is prayers. Wobbly. Wobbly means to move with unstable legs, unstable movement, okay? Shaky legs. So, let's go back to the passage now and see how it's used. Okay. Suddenly, a middle-aged man broke loose from the crowd and ran as fast as his wobbly legs would permit. Yes, his shaky legs. Now, remember, this is a middle-aged man, okay, broke loose from the crowd and ran as fast as his wobbly legs. Okay, so the wobble here matches with the age of the man. Wobbly legs, so shaky legs. Shaky here is the correct answer. Bemused. Bemused simply means slightly confused. Let's go back to the passage and see how the word bemused was used. At first, bemused bystanders rained curses on the fleeing man, wondering why a man in his right senses would in broad daylight rob a house of God. Confused should be the right word here. Bemused, confused. Intermittently simply means not happening regularly. It happens and stops, it continues for some time and it stops, not regularly. So let's go back to the passage and see how the word was used. Minutes later, he was caught and chained hands and feet, despite his struggle against his captors, who intermittently lashed him with horse whips. Yes, intermittently, they were not whipping him continuously. They will flog him and stop. When he misbehaves again, they flog him again to just keep him in check. So intermittently means not happening regularly, happen for a short time and you stop. Now, if you cannot get a word to replace this, you can use a phrase. Intermittently means not happening frequently. So you can do that here. Intermittently, not happening frequently. The last one, deranged. Deranged simply means someone who has mental issues, cannot think properly, okay? Losing his senses. So let's go back to the passage and see how the word was used. The man, after all, was not a thief and had stolen nothing. Rather, his ability to think and reason properly had taken flight of him. Simply put, he was mentally deranged. Now, let me tell you something about the word deranged here. Deranged here has no present, has no future. That means you cannot hear someone say derange. Okay? So the word is just deranged, no singular, no plural, no present, no past. So it's just deranged. So your answer, if you say mad or has lost his mind, you'll be very, very correct. Okay? But just make sure the word you use to replace the word deranged matches with the meaning of the word as used in the passage. First, maintain the rules. One, if you cannot replace it, if you cannot find a word to replace these words, use a phrase. Secondly, and the most important, use the same tense to replace the word. For example, supplications, they want you to give them something in the plural form. So do not say prayer, say prayers. Okay? Another one, if you give them a spelling error, you will lose a mark. For example, if you want to spell frequently and you spell it wrongly without the T or an E, you will lose half a mark. Okay, so be careful with your spellings here. Maintain the tense and make sure the words you use to replace the words here match with the meaning of those words as used in the passage. Thank you very much.